They tried like hell to give it away, didn't they?
Sure did, buddy. Sure did. I don't know which game we're talking about, but there were a lot of them last night.
I think you know what game I'm talking about.
NC State, our Wolfpack, rough start for them.
Grayson McCall.
Survive in advance. Survive in advance.
Yeah, that was Western Carolina.
You don't mess with the Cats. The Cats are scary.
How'd the Dirty Pole feel yesterday after the NC State?
Dirty Pole field 1-0 is 1-0, baby. There's no pictures on a scorecard here. Yeah. Records all that matters. 1-0, 1-0. Feeling good. Oh, it's a look-ahead spot for them. They got a big opponent next week.
I think that Wolf's limping a little bit. I think we're limping along, howling is what we're doing.
Not a lot of howls last night. Some light barks, maybe some nibbling. Not a lot of big bites, but they survived.
No, prime time.
Prime time.
Man, that was exactly what a lot of us thought it would be, wasn't it?
I loved every second of that game. I loved every second of it. That was, you just had a feeling we're all hate watching or love watching or however you feel about Deion. Like
I think the vast majority were
hate watching. He elicits an opinion, and it's so good for the sport because like we were having this argument with Rust after the show yesterday. And he was talking about how much he hates Deion and how he can't wait to hopefully watch him lose tonight. And I'm like, yeah, but we also have to at least acknowledge and appreciate the opinions that he elicits makes us care about these games. Colorado is not going to be a very good football team this year. I think I kind of learned that last night. You don't want to take too many things away from week one. Looks like the same exact football team from last year, slightly better at the line of scrimmage. Elite athletes, really dumb play calling at times, horrible mistakes on the field.
You thought they looked better at the line of scrimmage?
I mean, they ran the ball kind of, and they stopped the run, but it's against North Dakota State.
They averaged like 2.9 yards a carry, and they ran for 50-some yards.
Do you remember how bad their rushing offense was last year?
They also be that much worse than what
they also
that was.
They stopped the run.
They also played North Dakota State.
Sure, they did. Look, I'm trying to be positive here about Colorado. I'm not acting. I just said that Colorado's going to be a bad football team this year. But I enjoy watching them because it elicits an opinion and it elicits emotion. And I loved every second of it because they were down at the half. Everybody's freaking out. It was so fun to watch late in the game. They tried to gack it away, gave up a Hail Mary late, horrible play calling to throw the football on that final drive to stop the clock. Every second of that game was entertainment and theater, and I loved it.
We have a good call here. Mark Johnson, our good friend. He's got great pipes. He's been on the show a couple times talking about Deion and Prime in Colorado. Here he is. This is the third touchdown, Swigard, the final touchdown.
Yeah, this is the
amazing
NFL
catch. Yeah, this was unbelievable. Here's Mark Johnson on Learfield.
A shotgun snap taken by Shedeur, throws it right side. Travis Hunter reaches up, makes a spectacular grab. Touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado! He's an alien. He's a freak. He's a mutant. He's the best player in college football. And the Buffaloes take a 10-point lead, 30-20.
God, he's got good pipes, man.
Great pipes.
By the way, I looked it up. I'll give you a little of this. Last year, they averaged 2.31 yards per carry.
Hey, Making progress.
Last night it was 2.6.
Making progress, baby.
I just think that offensive line showed me zero. In fact, I would be very concerned playing real defensive lines because North Dakota State was bullying them.
They go to Nebraska next week.
Yeah.
Have fun
with that. Black
shirts
are back.
Have fun with that. That's a nasty defensive line.
You know, here's the other part of this because I think we all kind of take away the same thing from it. I'm in a weird spot here. I think what Deion has been saying and doing lately, I don't agree with. I've always thought he was great for the game. That's why I bought a Prime sweatshirt. It wasn't hot in their britches about him last year. I'm like, this is great. Like, I care about Colorado again.
Stock the almonds for the season.
Yeah, the almonds are stocked. They're ready to go. And so I'm kind of hate watching them last night, too. But I also think they have the best player in college football and maybe the best quarterback because you can think about whatever you want on the defense and Shermer as their OC and Deion as a head coach. I probably won't argue with you on those opinions. Shedeur was effing awesome last night, and Travis Hunter, if he's healthy, I think he's going to win the Heisman. He's playing both sides of the ball.
He played over 100 snaps.
Yeah, he did it again.
Yeah.
That's where I don't just the Shedeur was awesome last night. Best quarterback in the country. It's kind of a weird year for quarterbacks.
That's why I'm throwing that out there. He may be the number one.
And he was scrambling for his life most of the game.
And he still took hits and delivered. Yeah. He's throwing some dimes, man, under pressure.
Yeah, he also has the only issue that I ever have with Shedeur is he just has head scratching plays sometimes where that last drive they were completely bailed out by that pass interference call where he just chucked it down the field and happened to underthrow the wide receiver and the linebacker ran into him and they got the benefit of that whistle.
They went Mario school of clock management.
Just, let's throw it on first down incomplete, and then on third down, let's chuck one down the field. If that ball's incomplete, North Dakota State's getting the ball back, like with a timeout left and like a minute and 30 to go. And he on that play, it was like 3rd and 6 or whatever, and he's just backpedaling back all the way back to his 10-yard line.
He's got a little Caleb in him. He
holds onto the ball way too long. That's my only criticism of Shedeur. I don't disagree with the Travis Hunter point. I think he's probably easily the best player in the country. The issue is he's not going to stay healthy. Like, that was my other takeaway from last night.
Why would you throw that out?
He's never had a season where he finished healthy. You know why? How many snaps did he play last night, Swag?
100.
Over 100.
Yeah, so how did their season go at the start of last year? He carried them to wins because he was amazing against TCU. He was incredible against Colorado State before he got hurt with the lacerated kidney or whatever he had when he got hit. He was incredible against Nebraska. He's carrying them to wins, and then he gets hurt because you're playing him 100 snaps a game. Like, I'm not saying don't play him both sides. To play him every snap on defense and like 90% of the snaps on offense, have you not learned your lesson? Pick your poison here. Use him for a 3rd down and long. We want him in coverage. Use him for this pass player. He's not their only wide receiver. He's their best, but he's not their only good wide receiver. That's why I looked at them. They're the same team. He's going to carry him to wins early. They might beat Nebraska because of him. Could be Colorado State because of him, but you cannot rely on somebody playing that many snaps and not getting hurt. It's a violent game, man. He's going to take a hit. He got banged up at the end of the game last night because they were throwing those little swing passes to him. They had to take him out.
He also was not happy his teammates were celebrating. He's like, we barely beat North Dakota State. When you guys stop this? You might be right. I'll ask you this, though. Where is he better? Because that catch on that 3rd touchdown, I'm still like baffled watching that, and I couldn't believe how he caught it. It looked like a glitch in a video game where the ball goes through the defender's body, and he somehow had it.
And he was getting interfered with.
Yeah.
That was a flag if he doesn't make the catch. So.
What is he better at to you guys? Is he going to be an NFL wide receiver or DB? Because he's not going to do both sides. That's not going to happen.
I would say wide receiver. I know he's more known as a DB, but...
Yeah, I think he's drafted as a wide receiver, and they could possibly use him as a 3rd cornerback in certain situations.
In some desperate, like, hey, go switch sides for a couple plays.
It's 3rd and 16. We want an extra DB on the field goal play, but not going to be an every down corner for game in and game out in the NFL.
The other part of him, and I want to get to the Deion clip, we all, again, I think, agree with what we saw, right? The offensive line still isn't good. The defense sucks. They've got really good receivers. Their passing game is good. If he gets time, they're going to fight to get to 6 wins if they can get there.
If that.
Because their recipe is going to be kind of the same as last year. We just need to outscore you.
Yes.
And
they need to hit big plays.
Yeah.
Try to figure out how to win field position, big kick returns, those sorts of things.
Right.
But we'll know much, much, much more next weekend when they go to Lincoln and play Nebraska.
It just... For all the chatter about Deion and him making the decisions to basically fire and turn over an entire staff and hit the portal and not high school, it's year 2 and it's one game, but it showed itself. Like, here you go.
Team.
It seems like the exact same team. And, we're all fans of our own teams. We always want to see growth and development and change. And you didn't see any of that. Here was Deion in the post game after barely beating North Dakota State.
You ever felt like you won, but you didn't win? But I'm thankful, I'm happy we got the W. I think 31 NFL scouts are on hand tonight, and I think they saw what they came to see. So let's move on from there. I'm going to try my best to hold back my anger, but we got the W, so I'm happy.
I'm rooting for him to stay at Colorado and in college, but I'm also like, dude, you're great. But I wish you would care about the things you need to care about, like high school recruiting.
Yeah.
And it may come at the hands of you sucking really badly for 1 year and everybody burying you as a coach. But you can't turn over your entire staff every year. You can't just hit the portal. These other little things matter a great deal. Nick Saban didn't win on portal and staff changeover every year top to bottom. He won because he busted his ass traveling to all these cities, two-stepping with recruits in their living room and their moms. You got to care about that stuff, and he hasn't so far, and it's frustrating because he's good for the sport, and I don't want him to go away.
No, I don't either. I want to hate watch Colorado every week of the season, man. I already can't wait until next weekend, going on the road to Nebraska. Like, I can't wait for that game. It's going to be awesome to watch. I think that quote almost acknowledges what his main goal is anyways, and that is to get Shador
highlight
and
the two
Travis
kids.
Hunter
Yeah.
drafted in the top 5 or the top 10, which they both likely will be next April.
Yep.
And that's the main focus. There's 31 NFL scouts here. Shador was great. Travis Hunter was great. We got the win. What's next? Like, that's his mentality, and that's why I don't believe he's going to be around long term. And it's what's most frustrating about Deion. Despite my personal opinions about him, he's great for the sport. And I think where I would get most frustrated, and I am most frustrated, is that he doesn't take it seriously. If Deion Sanders truly wanted to recruit his ass off, like some of these crazy coaches do, he would bring in a top 10 recruiting class every year.
At minimum, a top 20, though.
He is an
you know
infectious person. That guy walking into your living room, you know how many kids he could get to commit? He is one of the greatest personalities in the history of sports, but because he doesn't put the time and effort in, and these are his alternate goals, you're just never going to see it come to fruition. And so I have a hard time seeing him there long term. That was Mark Jones was the other storyline of that game last night, calling it that. Just come on, man. If he's going to call Colorado games all year, I might have to watch them on mute. The Mark Jones love affair with Deion Sanders, and then in the fourth quarter when they're holding on to a slim lead over North Dakota State, we're showing a graphic on the screen of enrollment up and social media engagement, and
that's what this is.
That's
though.
fine.
That's part
all
of
of that
deal.
stuff is true, but this is we're watching a football game. They have been in a dogfight with an FCS team the entire night, and this is what we're highlighting with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
I know he's got some talking on video against Oregon, and then he started pissing blood. But given the narrative and noise around him, did anybody else see that penalty and go, Shiloh, why do you do this to yourself?
He was begging for one of those the entire first quarter. He had like 4 late hits in the first 5 minutes of that game.
But he's the other Sanders brother, and then he does that stuff. And you're like, well, that's
on
why
a
your
third
brother's
down,
better.
too. It was incredibly stupid. Like, that's where they just have so many of those dumb boneheaded, even the coaching calling that pass play on first down.
Yes.
Do you want to win this game?
Yep.
You could have ran that clock down to 5 seconds. It's just idiocy.